Today, I have a very special guest on, Camilla Tress from Oliver Bonas. Me and Camilla have been friends for such a long time. She's been a client of Reviews.io for about 8 years now, and it's one of my favorite brands. I love the store. I love their online presence. And I, in particular, love what they do in the real world as well. You know, their stores, if you've seen them, they make you smile, especially the designs and the paintwork on the outside. I love those colors. Camilla, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today. It's honestly such an honor to have you on. I know you're so busy. We appreciate you so much joining us today.
Well, thank you, Callum. And it's a mutual appreciation here because, as you say, we've been with Reviews.io since pretty much the start of our Magento platform journey. And it's really been a fantastic relationship, and there's still so much more we can do. So all good. Yes. And I'm really glad that our shops make you smile, because that is exactly what we're aiming for.
Honestly, there's not many people which really innovate in the high street, and you guys have really done innovation. You're expanding, and when you see a bright color or a cool looking exterior that it's one of your stores instantly, without seeing the logo, without seeing anything else. I know instantly it's one of your stores. And
well, thank you. Again, what's so interesting about that is that it sort of come about sort of organically in a way, because the stores are all different and individual. So you say there's a lovely mint green one in one town or city, and then some of them are pink. We've got a black one in Oxford, in the shopping centre in Oxford. Yeah. But yet they're still distinctively Oliver Bonas. So there is something about the products that we sell and how we sell them that really makes it Oliver Bonas.
It is brilliant. You're probably one of the British high street success stories, because everybody else, you see their stores, they all look generic. They're all doing the same thing, especially in your market, which is fashion and home goods. You guys have really nailed it in terms of eye-catching appeal, from the shop displays right through to the paint. Like you say, all your stores are individual. They're all a bit quirky. They're not your average plain white box. I love that. I love it when I get off the train at St Pancras and I see one of your stores and it's brilliant. Or you're walking through, like you say, Oxford. It's great. It's great to see. And the evolution of the brand is been, like you say, it's been that consistent evolution. And now you're back after pandemic. What's it like? What's changed? Are you still focused on online mainly, or is it you're still expanding those stores?
Well, we're still expanding stores. In fact, we've got one opening, in this week or next week in Bath, and we've got a couple more planned after that. So we're still expanding. We're opening new stores. What happened to us, Callum, was that prior to lockdown, the pandemic, it was 80% store, 20% online. Then, of course, 100% online during lockdown. And we really thought that people would shift and stay online afterwards. But there's been a massive move back to our stores. And I think that comes back down to, as you say, that people enjoy the experience of going into our stores. So I'm not sure if that's the same for all retailers, but for us, certainly, there was definitely a move back to stores. And so while people still shop online, it's back to about 70%, 30%. So, it's only shifted from 80-20 to 70-30 since the pandemic.
That's really interesting, because I think for most brands, it's probably still the opposite. It's still in that, online majority. But I am seeing a shift of people being back in stores a lot more, especially in the UK. We're seeing that people browse in store, don't they? They probably see your products in the store and this, touch and feel. They still want to do that with fashion and home goods. They still want to do that. I still want to do that.
I think particularly with our products, you really want to touch them and feel them, and smell them. And that's definitely something you'll never be able to do online, is it? So, if you want to smell the candles or the diffusers or whatever it is we have, you've got to be in the store. But, for us also, the whole customer experience is really important. the way we build relationships with people who come into our store, the whole atmosphere of our store, even down to the music.
Yeah.
I gather that, we're one of the few retailers, according to our music suppliers, who actually choose every song ourselves. So it's down to the fine details, I think.
It's those tiny things, isn't it, that make that huge difference, and they're often overlooked, and you guys get those tiny things so perfect. It's brilliant. It's brilliant, and it's obviously carried over onto your site. You've got a very well designed site. You're probably one of the best Magento sites out there. Obviously, there's this big shift towards Shopify and these other platforms, but you've stuck with Magento. Is that going to be a long term? Is that a long term decision now?
Never say never. I don't want to say too much, Callum, but yeah, no, we're with Magento. We've been with them, as you say, since we've been with you, so that must be about 8 years, and it's working for us at the moment. So, with our Magento platform, we are actually a headless platform. So right from the start, even though we have Magento for our back end, we've had a sort of bespoke front end. So that gives us a little bit more versatility and flexibility to create really interesting and ever-changing front-end experiences for customers.
Yeah. You can tell that you've really thought about that front-end experience. No, if you're listening to this and you've not seen Oliver Bonas's site, go and take a look. It is a great site. It's very fast loading. It's very functional. You get all the information, but you get that feel of the stores, and you get the feel of the products, and they've got really nice imagery. That's one thing that you guys have that a lot of stores miss out on, is those images. You've got great product images. Does that?
Yeah, again, we've got great products, so it's
Yeah.
almost easy to create beautiful images. We're lucky we've got a really great creative team, and we're constantly trying to, we're just constantly trying to make it better. We're always working to improve. So it's really great that you can see that and that people see that. But again, it comes down to attention to detail. Every little thing is considered.
Yeah, definitely. Even in the way the reviews are displayed, that you click on the review and it flips around, and it's so well done. I know you guys use Bizarre Voice for your user generated content, even though I've tried to win that business several times. I love how you display that. UGC is important. How do you see that? Do you see that as a sales technique, and do you use it anywhere else in the business?
Yeah, look, I personally love UGC. We have it on our homepage, we have it on our product pages, and wherever we can, we use it for social. We're actually, funnily, you should mention that we are also with another provider called Content Square. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about that, but and we're actually just decided to have a really good look at how our UGC contributes to the customer journey, and how customers who click on that will then behave as they go through to the other pages. So yeah, we're going to really have a proper understanding of that. Come back to us in a few weeks' time and we'll let you know. But yeah, certainly I think it's a really important part of the site.
How does if you did a split at the moment, where are your customers coming from? Is it landing straight on the site, or are you still driving most of your traffic from Google, Facebook, Instagram?
Oh, I don't have the exact numbers on me, but yes, all our Google Shopping goes, of course, straight to the PDP, the product page. And in fact, what we've done for that is because, as most people know, you have, of course, a high bounce rate on all those shoppers because they just come to a single product.
Yeah.
So we've recently launched a personalized landing page for Google shoppers, so they get a different experience of our PDP, where you get we've added a sort of carousel so you can see similar items and just hopefully start to discover more about the brand. So again, we launched that a month or two ago, and we're already seeing that has benefits of lower bounce rate, higher conversion rates.
Was that with the provider, or have you developed that yourself?
No, we've done that ourselves. Yeah.
I know. I actually was on a panel the other day, and there was another provider. I think it was Biddable, they're called, and they have a similar thing where they build bespoke product landing pages, and they put this carousel there and they found that a lot of people, even though they land on a product, they're actually not maybe looking for that exact product. They want to see other things in the range. They want to see other variants. And they've all done that in a carousel. So that's interesting that you built that yourself. So
Yeah. Yeah, well, we've only recently launched it. So the next stage is to start testing what we put in the carousel and what we put also in the page below. So do we put bestsellers? Do we put most clicked? Do we put most recent? So yeah, we're just going to start testing what works best.
what do you use for testing?
We're using Content Square at the moment. For that sort of thing at the moment, but we're looking potentially as a yet another third party vendor for testing. But at the moment, we're just doing it as we can on within Content Square.
Yeah, yeah. How has the job changed now? We're out of the pandemic. How's it changed in the last 6 months? What you're doing?
Well, I personally have shifted sort of across into our digital marketing team because we really started to build out our growth team. Funnily enough, people might not really imagine this, but marketing historically has not been a huge part of Oliver Bonas. It's really relied to a large degree on its stores because, people do love the stores. Of course, we've done marketing, but we haven't really built it out. So more recently, I've shifted over to do the performance marketing. I work a lot on the Google Shopping and that sort of thing, and we've really started paid social, which we really didn't do in any sort of serious way until the last 6 months. So, in terms of me personally, it's working on building out the growth team and working together with our digital marketing.
When you're looking at your spend on Instagram, Facebook, are you also? I mean, your product is so amazing for Instagram. What's the sort of advertising you're doing on there? Is it more brand building, or are you selling individual products, doing marketing on individual products and trying to actually get the acquisition off those, or are you brand building mainly on social?
Well, we're using organic more for the brand building and building relationships. For paid social, as I say, we really only started taking it sort of seriously, if you like, about 6 months ago. So it's still fairly experimental. We're still doing quite a lot of testing about what works for us and what doesn't work for us, and trying to build up really what works best for us creatively, actually, because of course these are very creative platforms and you need to get it right. We're probably going more for conversion-based ads than brand building ads at the moment, until we feel like we're getting it right. But funnily enough, again, that you should mention it, where we're doing our brand awareness, it's using our reviews, Callum. So we're taking people's reviews of OB and sharing those. So that's where we're looking more top of the funnel.
Makes massive sense. On how are you seeing technology implementation in the business? Are you going like with the rise of AI, all of this augmented reality, which I'm not too keen on at the minute? I know Apple are talking about launching something where you can their augmented reality glasses, and I think that'd be huge for Oliver Bonas, that you could walk down the street and the glasses could probably point to a store and say you've shopped here before and probably see your past. It could almost show you in the glasses your past history, but that's very very futuristic and probably sci-fi at the minute. On artificial intelligence, the rise of Chat GPT-3, how do you see that affecting Oliver Bonas going forward? And especially on the side, how are you going to use this in this new source of information?
This is a big question. I think, we all love the idea of, as you say, augmented reality, virtual reality, the metaverse. But for Oliver Bonas, I think that has to be a long way in the future.
Yeah.
I think for so many brands, there's a danger of getting caught up in the excitement and the thrill of the future. Often what happens is that they turn out to be gimmicks and they don't actually help your business. They don't actually help the customers. And really, for us, it's getting the basics right. We're still getting the basics right. One thing, as you say, we've been around a while. This is our 30th year. So it's 30th anniversary for Oliver Bonas. And so it's fantastic. But we also have some of the legacy technology that we really have to just get worked out first.
Yeah.
We like to be I personally like to be an early adopter, but I also like to make sure that we're not jumping on the bandwagon. So we've got a massive project this year just to change our ERP. So at the moment, in terms of investing in exciting AI technologies, that's coming next. Once we've got our sort of fundamentals right, then we're all open to looking forward to fantastic AI technologies and that sort of thing. I mean, we do have it for our search at the moment, and I think we're looking at it for on-site recommendations and that sort of thing. And just talking with you, it'd be really nice to have it for our analysis of our reviews and our, of any feedback we get. Really nice to be able to use AI to really, really deep and detailed look at the feedback that we get from customers and really understand what it is that they want and need.
Yeah, I think that's a great opportunity for you guys, is to get that information condensed in short form. This is what people love about what you're doing. Carry on doing it. This is something you can improve on. And I think that's really important to the brand. And I think that it will really help you. Your customers actually, you have one of the highest review collection rates. And what that means is that you've got really high customer loyalty. The customers are willing to take that time out of their day to leave you a review. And they do that really en masse. I mean, you guys have collected thousands and thousands of 5-star reviews. I've worked in the UK with some of the biggest online stores, Flannels, the Sports Direct group, and your reviews really outshine everyone's in terms of quality and the number of reviews collected, the conversion rate. And it's amazing, because you guys were one of the first brands that took a chance on me. I actually dealt with you guys when you signed up. I was still involved in the sales team at that point, and it was amazing. I can remember it was me and Nikki at that point. We were still tiny. There was 4 of us around a table, and your inquiry came in, and it was like, Oliver Bonas have just signed up. And I think it was Nikki who spoke to you originally. Because we were, before this podcast, I was saying to her earlier and saying, Nikki, I'm on the podcast later with Camilla. And she went, oh, make sure you say hi. She goes, I remember when they signed up. And it was such a moment for Reviews.io as a brand, and kind of verified some product market fit. And it was kind of like, we could do this. And it was just
I think that's what it is. It's about the connection, isn't it? And that, we are a bigger brand now, but we're still kind of almost like a family. And that's where we like to work with people of a similar ilk, I suppose, is that, you're working, you're almost one team rather than a vendor and a user, client, if you like.
It was just brilliant for us to get you guys on board, and you really helped us build our brand, because we were like, we have Oliver Bonas. Look at, have you seen their shops? Their shops are great. Get involved with us, and it definitely led to part of our success. I mean, you guys have tried out all of our features over the years. Well, I've tried to get you to try out all of our.
Yeah, well, we've re-platformed a couple of times, and each time the design changes. And but funnily enough, we are looking at how to incorporate a few more of your attributes into our review questions. So we haven't stopped working towards improving that and building out our reviews.
Talking about attributes, I think that'd be an amazing way for you to learn more information about your customers.
Exactly.
It'll really help you with segmentation. It'll really help you with product development, as in you can ask, did this product run big, small, quality, fit, things like that will be great. But also you can inquire about age. People do click it, people don't click it. Were you buying for yourself, or was it a gift? And some of these things can really help you build out better email marketing campaigns or SMS marketing campaigns later. But also, when you're doing your social marketing, you can actually create different buckets and load them into Facebook and retarget these people with targeted messages. So you know that this person buys for somebody else. They're buying gifts on your platform.
Well, this is fantastic. And actually, I think we're hoping to integrate with our CDP so that we can really develop that segmentation to really understand who are our loyal reviewers and our loyal customers. And there's, again, so many opportunities that, so as you can see, there's so much to do before we start looking at virtual reality.
On loyalty, do you guys have a loyalty program at the minute?
No, yet another thing on our list of things to do. We're looking into loyalty programs. We're looking into what we feel is that, yes, it's something we're going to look into, but we don't feel like with a brand that will sort of be collecting points. We don't want to feel like a sort of Tesco type version of a loyalty program.
Yeah.
But we do really believe it's important to reward your VIPs. You know, we do have loyal customers, and we want to know that we want them to know that we appreciate them. So we have a sort of mini version at the moment, which is if you open an account with us, you do get sort of advanced access to sales and things like that. So
I think
different
that's
delivery options.
important. I think that what you're talking about, giving them access to sales, the Black Friday sales, even if you could do that en masse to your online customers and say, hey, secret access, open for 24 hours before the floodgates open, you get first dibs. That is massive. And that builds such a loyal, that builds a community. And you guys have always been passionate about building up that community, I know. And I think because you've got such loyal customers, I think you'll absolutely,
Yeah, we're just looking at which direction to go at the moment. Yeah, I mean, the big problem, I think, amongst all retailers that I went to an event recently, and the only thing people were talking about was returns. Returns are a really, really big issue because it's not sustainable to have returns in the two forms of sustainability, in that it's not sustainable for the planet, in that returns, it's more packaging and it's more delivery. The products themselves often can't get reused. So it's really bad for sustainability on that way. And as a retailer, it's not sustainable on your margins if people keep returning things and as return levels go up. So certainly that's an area where I think we've really got to think about. And as you know, some retailers have actually started to charge for returns. I don't think that's where we're going just yet, probably. But everything has to be considered because, it is an issue.
Do you deliver international? And do you do free returns from international?
Yes.
See that?
Yes.
And is that's where profits start to get painful, I think.
Yes. I mean, international isn't a huge percentage of our sales, so returns are not a huge impact on us. So at the moment, that's okay. Yeah.
Oh, I was talking to a brand the other day, massive. They've got high street presence and they've got massive online. They sell nationwide, globally. And I was talking to their CEO, and he said, Callum, on some of our products, which we sell internationally, we will lose not just the margin, but we will lose thousands of pounds on these products. For instance, they've only just realized that he was doing free returns from Australia, but and it was free returns on each individual item. And he was paying the duty that they were coming back into the UK. And I think we worked out on one order he showed me, he'd lost about £1,500. And I think they're massively unprofitable. This company's never been profitable, and I think they just tapped their equity company for another 200 million to keep the brand going. And I was like, how are you going to, you can't carry on like this. And he was like, no, we've got to be an international brand. I'm like, well, you're going to, eventually people are going to stop giving you money. And I just see the returns is just such a massive, massive problem.
Yeah.
Did you sell into Russia?
I mean, we would if someone ordered from there, but we don't really get many customers from Russia, I don't think. And at the moment, I don't, I'd say in principle, but actually, I don't know what's going on there at the moment. It may not be possible anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
On political grounds, I wouldn't want to say either way.
Right. Because he was obviously saying to me, because they're in a similar market, they're in very high luxury goods. And they were like, we've lost all our Russian business and that's gone. So we've got to get it from other countries. And he was like, no, so you're not big in the market.
Not big in Russia, no.
Imagine it. Yeah, right. Stores. Will you go international with stores eventually?
Yeah, look, eventually. It is on the roadmap, but at the moment, we've still got pockets of the UK that don't have us. We're not in the southwest very much. There's still lots of Wales to cover. So it is on the roadmap.
Leicester yet?
Have we not got one in Leicester?
No, not got one in Leicester.
Oh, Callum.
I know.
We've got to put that right.
I know. We've not got one in Leicester. The nearest one, I think, for me is Birmingham, somewhere like that. I think it's Birmingham, Nottingham.
Ooh.
We don't have Leicester.
So there you are.
There you go. I'll come and cut the ribbon. Me and you can cut the ribbon together. We'll do it.
Yeah, definitely. Oh gosh. Well, so as you know, therefore, international will happen, but not just yet. Europe is certainly higher on the list. Apart from the US, where we have a website.
Yeah. How does that go with the US market?
When we first launched the website, we started looking into it, started doing some social, and we realized that without a store, without being on the ground in the country, it's really hard.
Yeah.
Well, or really expensive to break into the market, which is partly why we've pulled back. So I think the next step, if we do go sort of more international, it will be putting a store into the country, because that is the sort of easiest way we found for getting brand awareness.
Yeah.
It certainly happened in Ireland. We had the Irish website and it was sort of going along well, and we opened a store in Dublin and things just transformed. So it's really about our stores.
Oh.
Where in Dublin?
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the street.
Right. I weirdly, when I was 18, had a women's clothes shop in Dublin.
No.
That was my first. I had two partners, and we had women's clothes shops in Leicester, Dublin, and Leeds, the Corn Exchange in Leeds. And I stepped back from that business very, very quickly. It didn't work anyway. But we had a store on Wicklow Street in Dublin, and it was very interesting. We just used to go there and drink, and that was my first. That was probably one of my first entrepreneurial offerings.
That
started out.
Most people are just, I don't know, going to college, going to uni, starting out in their first job, and you open a store.
Yeah. I was at uni. Oh,
you were at uni?
Yeah. And I was doing everything when I was at uni. I had, within the universities, they let you have stalls. If you was a university member, the university fairs, and I rang up Orange, the mobile phone operator, and said, "Can I have a contract to sell your phones to students?" And they actually went, "Yeah." And I was like, "This is mad." And I actually had these stands at I had Derby, Leicester, Coventry, Nottingham, and I had these stands and students selling these phones for me. And that was while I was at university. Yeah.
It is amazing. It feels like you're never going to stop, Callum, are you?
No, my mum's 70. I'm not going to say how old she is. She's 70-ish. And she's operated a nightclub for 46 years, which is the longest, I think it's the longest independent nightclub in the UK. And the building has been sold and they're going to redevelop this building. And so she's got to close down. And she said to me the other day, she goes, "Where are we going to open next?" And I went, "Mom, we're not. That's it. We're done. You know, we're going to put a nail in this coffin. We've been trying to get out of this industry for years." And she goes, "No, well, I think we should open a new venue." And I'm like, "Well, you're 76. I've run several companies, do a lot of different stuff, Mum. I've got, you know, Hudson going on. I got my new baby." And she's like, "Yep, I want to open a new nightclub, and I want you to find me the location." So she's tasked me with finding a new venue.
Well, tell you what, I'll come to the opening night of that, cut the ribbon with you, and you can come to the opening of Oliver Bonas, and it'll be great.
We'll do them both simultaneously. We'll do that in the day, and then we'll do that at night. Yeah. So talking about not stopping, you know, she's my inspiration really for a lot of this entrepreneurial journey. She's never worked for anybody else. I've never worked for anybody else. And we both believers in jumping in and just finding out when you're doing it sort of.
Well, maybe that's the connection because, you know, Ollie, the founder of Oliver Bonas, has never worked for anyone else either. You know, he started doing stuff at uni a bit like you, and then opened the first shop and it's just grown from there. So same thing, never worked for anyone else.
Yeah. And that's weird, isn't it? It's quite unusual. What piece of advice would you give to someone just starting out in e-commerce, in high street? What's that one bit of advice that you'd give to them right now?
You know what? I suppose it's more personal advice than business advice, because there's plenty of business advice, how to start an e-commerce business now. You just Google online and as you say, if you've got the right platform and the right product, then it's really all about marketing, to be honest. But I think in terms of personal advice, and again, you hear this too, it's about perseverance, grit, resilience, because anyone can start a business, but not many people can see it through. So it's really about being able to hold on through the difficult times, I think, and keeping going. Well, I mean, unless it's obvious that you shouldn't, unless you're losing money. But, you know, I'm sure you know, Callum, that a lot of it's about really having to have the grit. You know, the more you hear about it, the more the people who succeed are the ones who've got grit, as they call it, rather than anything else.
It's evolution in yourself. What I always say when I started reviews, I was like, the products we have today will not be the products we have in 3 years. It will evolve. And don't be too precious and hold on to what you're doing today, what you're starting with. And I'm sure Ollie's pretty the same. You know, you've got to be able to evolve really rapidly and learn through the different stages. And that's something I've been really trying to do myself, is my knowledge, my insights can only take me so far. So I've had to really educate myself as I've kind of progressed. And that's been a big thing for me. I'm still doing it.
Yeah, well, we all are. I mean, I don't think you ever stop changing and growing. And if you do, then that's not quite right, really. I think, you know, we've all got to keep learning and growing. It doesn't matter how old you are. Yeah, and actually, as you say, flexibility is really important too, isn't it? So yes, perseverance and resilience, but not stubbornness.
Yeah.
So
hold on to those beliefs lightly. That's what I say to my kids. Look.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, hold on to them lightly.
Yeah.
And what's one piece of tech that you've recently seen or implemented that you've gone, that's good, I like that?
Well, in terms of OB, you know, for us at the moment, a huge piece of the tech is the ERP, and that's sort of going to be the basis for a lot of the new things we develop after that. So that's what we're doing. For me, I'm sort of really excited about, because we were early adopters, about the whole sort of headless technology for platforms, composable. You know, I just think that seems to be the way forward.
Yeah. Well, what third party do you use for that, or do you do that in house?
We use an agency, and they have their own front end that they've built. So we have a sort of bespoke one, if you like. It's not bespoke for us, but bespoke for everyone who
Yeah,
uses that agency, because they, they started early on in the headless journey, and there weren't third-party tools at the time, so they had to build their own. So that's what we use. So I'm really interested in that side of technology. I love all that, and of course AI and how that can help in all areas. Although I do think it's interesting over in the news today. In fact, it was on in the headlines of one of the papers. I think they were saying that the top AI companies have warned that of AI's existential threat to humanity. So,
yeah. I,
Callum,
I,
I think we have to be slightly careful about how we use AI.
I saw that exact headline you're talking about, and they were comparing it to like nuclear war and the
Yeah,
climate change. And yeah, I don't know whether that's just the media just trying to get hold of something. And
the debate between utopia and dystopia, isn't there? And I think for the moment, it's really great. I was reading about or hearing about a company that uses AI so that you can personalize every description on your website. So that if someone is visiting your site from a different country or somewhere where it's hot or cold, when it's, versus cold, and you change the description for the person who's reading it,
yeah,
and that's AI that can deliver that,
yeah.
it's
One of
great.
the things that we're talking about AI, and I'll talk about this. So one of the things that I was really worried about was, and this is really when I did this in lockdown, when I was starting to see a lot of people talking about AI a lot more. And I thought, well, I'm really worried that we're just going to get fake reviews and AI is going to write all the reviews. And, this is going to be a nightmare because fake reviews are the scourge of the internet and they cause me real headaches. And we was really working hard on that problem. And what we've ended up doing is implementing some keystroke biometrics, because it's one thing that AI can't do, which is type on a keyboard.
Wow.
So we're actually monitoring the clicks in the input boxes. So if it goes to
Wow.
Control V, we know that that's been created by.
But can people not use the mic and do voice?
Yeah, yeah. But this is for written reviews. This is actually when you type. When you type, you have a unique fingerprint. This is what I'm working at the minute. So how you hold the letter S on your keyboard is totally different to how everybody else holds it.
Wow, that's amazing.
So, and I'm explaining this to everyone, and I'm like, right, we're going to do keystroke biometrics. And they're like, you want to, and it's actually, and I was like, no, maybe not today, but maybe not tomorrow, but soon we're going to have to implement this because it's going to cause problems. And now we're like, it's now live. So we actually track the keystrokes, and that's identified all this chat GPT fraud. And it's really helped us stop that and help me sleep at night, I suppose.
That is fantastic.
Uh,
And I remember when ChatGPT came out, almost the same day, we got an email from you saying that we can now write our replies if we want.
yeah.
Using ChatGPT, little tool. I'm going, oh, you're always on it.
So yeah, you can like one-click reply, and when you've got product market fit when random people start talking about that. So we launched that a few months ago. No one's really spoke about it. People are using it, but no one's really spoke about it. And then randomly today, someone shared this LinkedIn post with me where this guy was actually saying, oh, it's made my life so much easier. I can one click and it writes a reply better than I do. So it saved him hours a month replying to reviews. So there is a lot of helpful stuff like that we're actually working on. We're working on insights as well. We spoke about that. But yeah, we've got a long way to go in this. But yeah, the threat of AI to reviews is real. But I do worry that AI will get stupider and stupider because it will just start, one AI system will start talking to the other AI system. and they'll just be educating each other, probably incorrectly. So somebody wrote, I seen something yesterday where the AI was used in a court case and it quoted a case that didn't exist. And the judge was like, you've used ChatGPT to do this. And that they actually got shamed publicly online.
Yes, but for that one person who got shamed, how many have managed to slip through the net? It's hard to know, isn't it? It depends what you're looking at.
Yeah, definitely. You've got to take some of the information you're getting back with a grain of salt, else you might look stupid. I think that's brilliant advice. Thank you, Camilla, for being on today. It's lovely to speak to you. I hope to invite you to the opening of my mum's nightclub soon. And at the same time, I'm there to ribbon with you.
Cut the ribbon in Leicester. Yeah,
that's it. Sunny Leicester. That's it. Honestly, been brilliant. Thank you so much for coming on and taking the time to come on. I really appreciate that. And I will make sure you are on the beta list for our Insight solution that's coming soon.
Brilliant. Thanks so much. It's been absolutely fantastic, Callum.
Lovely. Thank you, Camilla.